even if you have that POI advantage, guys. See that big Eiffel Tower?
For teams like Team Liquid, Alliance, Reject, they might be some of the latest teams to show up down there, but I'd imagine that Team Liquid, based off the performance in match number 1, not scared of fighting their way in.
Not even when it comes to Humber Lab zones like this, right, Tiff? We've seen this before. We've seen it time and time again with the teams that try to contest for the southern side of their positioning, especially by a survey beacon. Zipline Mafia, Team Vision being one of those. But Sentinels, who over on the northern side of Humbert Labs were able to rotate so quickly. I mean, their POI being over by Uptown already, going into that northern side of Humbert, where this is Aurora's designated POI, have been able to take control over the bottom side of the southern building of Humbert Labs, alongside Team Nemesis 2, who have also gone for the quick rotate.
Well, that's immediately what we saw in match number 1, just on a different side of things. Will we see some early engagements, or are you going to stand your ground and say, hey, we'll just wave the white flag for now? But you do have Nate, Zidon, and Kiner here on the right-hand side. High ground, calling some people out. The hemlock with the breach charge is absolutely nasty.
Oof. And the gold mag too, by the way?
The gold mag? This early?
I mean, we'll take that any day.
Here.
We absolutely take those. CLNP being one of the teams that kind of go against the grain when it comes to their current composition. We highlighted them earlier. Phoenix, Mad Maggie, Watson, and Wraith. Once again, when you have so many of the Alter, Sears, and Watson. And that's kind of what happens if you're going to see the influx of Watson with no more crypto in the lobby. You don't have to worry about all your hard work looking like Picasso with the fences getting deleted, but you do have to worry about this if you're a DJ, right? You're settled inside this building, hiding behind your own friendly Watson fences. You see the Riot drill from the other side, and now Dino are just going to sit nice.
I love that they're going to say they're sit nice, but I want to keep tabs on that ring console just above, because people are going to want to play for the third information to know which side do we want to commit to, because so many teams have already moved on to that southeastern side. If we pop back towards like Draft Point or something, it would be wicked, but we've seen some of the craziest pulls before. I mentioned Team Liquid early on, and they get to the rooftop of this building, and they're essentially chasing down Alliance. Oh, that's similar to match 1.
Can't catch a break out here, right? But that's kind of what happens when you know that this was their prio POI. They try to take that advantage away from them. Sure, you could try to walk away with that if you're going to be landing in Northpad and Storm Point shortly, but Liquid wanted to fight them for the information because there's a ring console, an evil harvester on that side of Alliance's POI. And if you take a look at the zone, it actually benefits the way that Team Liquid want to approach this, because then they could take their time coming out of Neon Square before going on a side quest and then maybe rotate to Drop Point once they get that next ring console info.
Good free cam to kind of iron out those sites. You got Zero still going up to the side. Maybe a rotate is going to be possible. Honestly, go to Street Market. Grab even more information. Get the survey beacon there and then decide, do we go towards WGR and Elite? Do we focus on Alliance, who are also evacing? For TLNP on our screen, you know, we also have some differences here. We found ourselves in an interesting situation.
This is actually really smart of Alliance. They're actually getting ahead, knowing that Team Liquid wants to get that survey, as you mentioned, Tip, over by Street Market, and they want to get aggressive, maybe a little bit of revenge while they're at it, because they know that they already have the survey beacon over by Neon Square. They see Team Liquid going in for a quick rotate, and they could isolate this fight. We'll see who comes out on top if they end up skirmishing, while we take a look at Neo, too, who are trying to take control over this bridge side, Elite being on the other side, but so many other teams have found themselves in the southern side of Humbert Labs. But I am expecting Alliance to continue to try to cut off Team Liquid, because they're looking to circle keep them, which would force Liquid to rotate from Viaduct side.
Are we going all the way down here to grab this survey beacon? We just got to make sure we have that information at Shipyard before moving in, but too many teams have put themselves on the south side. S8UL have been a real more zone-oriented team. I got to speak to them for a bit on Media Day, and honestly, it was really good just to touch base with Sharky. We don't get to talk to a lot of our players the mid-season, especially unless you kind of like reach out. And for a man who doesn't really use social media, things can be difficult. Enterforce 36, you know, not the strongest match number 1 here in our second set of the day, but that's okay. We're sitting on top of S8UL, and we're going to kind of keep checking ourselves as Sharky on the Seer down below connects.
With the Nemesis in hand, too. Can we talk about that weapon, by the way?
No.
Charter, what the heck?
Just sorry.
Actually, so scary here too, but you combine that together with not only getting the information that you get with the seer attack, but also just being able to get that slowdown comes in clutch. When you take a look at this zone pool going on the outskirts of Humbert, closer, very similar to what we had seen in our previous groups, Tiff, but a majority of these teams have been able to kind of congest that southern side.
They really have, and that's when you have that third ring information. If you're playing Watson, you're trying to rotate based off that. Dinos, they've got the ring console just ahead of them where Ninjas and Pajamas are rotating in. I see Hackus on the ground as the White Grim Reapers Neo move in. Look for the finishing touches if they can. Alliance, a bit of a slower start, but I'd imagine they're banking on really making the most of their points for the series out onto Storm Point. We just need one explosive game on E-District to kind of coast.
Can't catch a break. I mean, the fact that Alliance just keep getting caught like this. Grim Reaper themselves kind of living up to that name. While Dog having a very lackluster game number one, have settled themselves with their composition underneath a lot of the action that you could expect over by Humbert. Looking at how Team Liquid 2 are going to make this rotate, because we talked about them forcibly going through Viaduct. They have no issue getting that info, but they will be able to note from the Survey Beacon Shipyard Arcade the other teams that will be rotating from the northern west side of zone, which would be WGR.
They should have a relatively easy passage, not the same that Ninjas and Pajamas has experienced. If you saw the kill feed, Dinos actually took down 2 members of Ninjas and Pajamas, forced the last one scurrying to hit a reset, and now Dinos are dropping down towards where VK Gaming has positioned themselves. Team Liquid have been on a bit of a journey since they left their home at Resort and have found themselves out on the western side, just outside of the next circle. And this is where like you kind of choose your own adventure type of reading, right? Do we full send Elite Esports, or do we make sure that no one comes down on us from the north?
I think playing it where you're making sure that your back is safe would be the option. Because, I mean, like, with the amount of ultras that we have, right, you at least have that TP to reset very quickly. Sure, you could trail behind Elite, but you could easily assume Elite's doing the same thing. You know where WGR, because you already scanned that survey in Shipyard Arcade. And now RRQ, being one of the teams to try to control that northern building that we saw Gaming Gladiators in our last group hold this instead, Pricey. Having the longbow is all you need. He gets a 60 and the break. He's got the exhibit, but he's going to hold on to it for now. Nothing to overextend when you have Reject in the area as well as VKG that are just waiting to walk up for free.
And the big thing is about E-District, when you still have Alter in play, all the different levels that we're experiencing, it's so difficult because you never know if someone's going to try to pop up behind you or kidnap you. Elite Esports, they did already expend their exhibit on the most recent fight that they're disengaging from to focus on saving up those resources for endgame. Henchman at least does have the Jenny in pocket to drop should they decide to fight something else.
Just the fact that we're seeing like these raw picks in the feed and then the resets come through anyways. There's still 20 squads left as round 2 is starting to close now. Team Liquid, full purple. It's the Hemlock in the hands of Zero and the pings on top of it, noting the teams that will be rotating. You mentioned Alliance looking to get that reset now are going to take their time to come out of draft point when there is that survey beacon. Liquid not trying to get overzealous since they do have that TP behind them too.
We did just lose our first team. Ninjas in Pajamas does not get the reset. Dinos had done enough and sent them packing. So for now, as we see where that third circle is, we've got to get there. KNC on the screen. You can see Dinos just ahead of them. Kenotrope, do they run into Alliance on this? Are they going to get held out by Dinos? Because Dinos have so much space in the north, and they're basically sitting on the survey beacon and the ring console.
Denying that from the other teams. That's why they're playing so split. It's very smart of them, and that's why they've been able to pick up some KP while they're at it. Looking at the other teams too, KNC looking to be able to get fully up to health. One of the few teams running the baby comp, by the way, and only game number 2 on E-District. You usually get to see that on Storm Point, but with a different plan here for this team.
You can get away with it, right? Because you're not going to have any of these banned, and you can focus on those late game reaches. I say, hey, are you going to run into Alliance? Are you going to run into Dinos? No, we're Valculting out of here. Now, the worst part about this is there's still 19 squads left in the lobby, so you're going to have to kind of slam down in a bit of an extended outside that circle space.
With Dino peppering the damage, getting some KP to their name, it's a rather patient game number 2 with a lot of these stray hits. Not going to be able to fully capitalize with the resets that we keep seeing off of the Alter TPs. And now you can see it from the other side, right? CLNP noting that, and as they try to creep up, find another team, it's GK who's right in front of them, and they're about to get stuck in a sandwich between Pirates and Team Liquid.
Well, our French roster on the screen here. We don't want a sandwich. We want to see what they're going to be able to do. Do they take the fight to GK? Do they immediately move? No, we're portaling on to Team Liquid, who are already weakened, trying to see, can we take down Zero? No, Sykes dips out. Zero says, okay, we're going to stall this push. Zidane, though, now with a rock for cover, focuses on getting those shield cells back up. No, we get caught in a seer attack as we try to disengage, and Kiner falls.
Makes my eyes water sometimes, too, when you're trying to engage in this fight. You're looking behind you with your eyes in two different directions like a chameleon, because Team Vision are also looking at GK. Pirates in trouble, Liquid trying to capitalize. Zero, though, falls low, and so does Panic.
No. Where are we heading back? Oh,
gotta take the TV.
Wingman in the back for Panic from Zidane. And now Sykes is the last standing for this roster. He's got to go ahead and make sure we get in this building, find him, they do it. TLN Pirates are out of the lobby, but do we have a reset? Because that riot drill is going to burn from White Grim Reapers.
He put the TP right on time because now the zone's closing in, so they couldn't really fully reset if they did want to take it back. But now the zone's closing in, that means Neo gets to move up. They get information. You can see the exhibit too on the outskirts playing and hugging the gen on the other side because GK walk up and they clean up. Team Liquid, when they were in trouble, they couldn't get the reset.
That one's gonna hurt, right? But at least they did have a pop-off in game number 1 to carry them forward in the series. And Neo, Maggie ball in hand, sights their sights onto GK. Multiple ultimates. And Keon, no shields, he's caught out. Drop does have his back though. And portals away with perfect timing.
Hard here when Neil is just trying to clear this western side of the zone. They're looking at GK for right now in that trade-off, but this is not the only fight that's stacking on top of each other, because then you look at that northern side, that Alliance, after they were able to reset, still looking at Dinos. But WGR are taking the off angle, and with this zone completely pulling to the northern side of Humbert, it's a different look than what we had seen in our previous groups, forcing even the likes of Sentinels to start rotating.
If you're Dinos, Alliance, VK Gaming, you are feeling good. For GK and Neo, we're duking it out on the bottom side of things, and with 30 seconds before that circle starts to move, we've got to go. So having that longbow, maybe catch a knock so we can full send. We already know that GK's got the altar and is going to be playing off those. But here's Team Vision! Team Vision swoop around through that. Carter, Loader, Zach want to get into the mix.
They were able to do this too because they also have that insurance policy with coming back to the TP here as GK also move forward. They're trying to force Team Vision to be in the middle so that way they can re-engage, especially with the zone closing in the next 3 seconds.
You have to be so quiet over there. We get a shield swap. It's half dead, but it's better than nothing, and you've got a massive 1v1 over here. Both of you weakened. The circle around on the doorway. Keep your eyes on Loader.
Maybe come back from this. He's literally one shot. He's dancing this movement. He's trying to get around, but the zone closing in. They can't even fully reset off the portal. And now it's up to Zach. Vision keeping in this, playing off the knockdown shields to be dropped, and for free gets a beautiful angle, hiding originally behind the knockdown shields, and still gonna be able to find Zach as Team Vision do get eliminated. And then the action on the other side that we were looking at before TIFF, Sentinels, RRQ, Reject, and Nemesis, while E36 takes to the sides to find a spot in the next zone.
I'm so glad that people are finally showing up towards this circle and the chaos that is ensuing from it. We have the intersecting exhibits all in these different corners, and Sentinels focusing forward through the Watson fences. Make sure you get that shield bat off before you dive out. Monsoon peeks up. RRQ get Pricey back on his feet, and Team Nemesis has fallen.
Man, WGR just cleaning this up, but can they do it for long? Because Dinos actually made Grief Alliance right now. The Venn diagram, the exhibit for exhibit, all the information trying to isolate this fight is exactly what WGR need to keep Alliance busy. But Alliance now fighting Dinos up here on the high ground. The TP's coming up like an elevator. Shoot, as Unlucky now swings J Feature, literally fries him with the R9. Just a blue mag is all you need. Hockey's needing some help, and Aku's literally one shot. But now it's only up to Unlucky, and as they go to the door,
he tries to fence him.
The fence!
He fences him!
Fence! Chaos is like, all right, I'm gonna take this slow too. Nobody's really looking at them, and Aurora could show face, but this is gonna be the 1v1 cleanup as he faints it out with the res.
Watson v. Watson, kidnapping offenses, and Unlucky back to full, trying to get the med kit off. 8 seconds to go, and he's going to try and stick this res. Destroying the fence as we swing out. We get some damage on the Chaos.
Someone shooting it from behind. Unlucky. Unlucky comes out to try to swing them. Staying alive, but another team is trying to grief him with a nade through the window.
And Dinos on the right try to stabilize. We don't stick the res. We're down to 2 solos, and sometimes it just be like that.
That's what happens when Alliance wanted to prio getting into the bus. At least they have cover. Even if the windows are broken, he gets the res and he gets a death box res on top of it all.
You just hop on it, it's 7 seconds, and Hackis will be back in it. The stabilization from Alliance, well done, Unlucky.
Beautiful on cue with the zone closing in behind Alliance, who was griefing them. It could have been E36, it could have been SAUL, who are inside this next zone. VK Gaming, though, are in some trouble, now leaving it up to Queso, who's almost one shot. So is LQ, though. They're trying to move up. E36 now are going to be cleaning that up, while Dinos eventually get eliminated.
Your match 1 winners, Aurora, fall also as well. For Enter Force 36 in the north, your biggest opponents are SAUL, who are in the building just ahead of you. You can see Jesco on the left side, taking angles through the doorways, keeping the pressure on E36.
Looking around the world for Exhibit on Exhibit. VK Gaming down to a duel for now. The stun, the nade at his feet. Talk about the double stun, right? You got all the information for as long as you can, while SAUL do clean up E36. Oobly does go down. Wait, are also still getting more KP.
And Alliance send SAUL? They move in just below them.
It's crazy, the stack up that we're currently seeing. The fact that Alliance 2 look like Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide himself, going from the northwestern side of the zone all the way down to the south of Humber before finding themselves in this building.
We don't have a gen, though. Unlucky does not have an ultimate accelerant, and he's 80% away from having that pylon, which will be detrimental. So we have to focus on the fences. VK Gaming do fall. So for now, it's SAUL and Alliance in this building. Enter Force 36 over towards their east, and to the top we go.
And they wanted to try to contest them through those Watson fences too after getting the seer attack, but they're getting harassed. The longbow shots, henchmen, the back-to-back, while also Sharky takes a bite out of them, gets another knock onto Alliance.
And you see the Aku, Unlucky, crawling back to Hackis. Like, can we get a reset? If Enter Force 36 catches wind of this, we're going to try to finish it out. There you go, Unlucky, Aku, definitely both finished. It's a Hackis, a solo.
Can he come out here? No, it's just a matter of time as Alliance get eliminated. Sharky with that nemesis that we talked about, Tiff. 6 squads left as E36 get hit with their seer attack. It's all the information as SAUL are keeping their eyes on this team as a zone closes in right behind their back, because the teams collapsing on the southern side will eventually have to fight, while E36 are looking at SAUL.
And through the window, all the nade indicators, SAUL starting to rack together more kills. RRQ, dead center of circle. Here comes Elite.
Coming into WGR have been just picking up so much of that KP, but looking on the other side, would it be enough is the question when you take a look at the way that E36 get eliminated to SAUL. Still finding more KP, 5 squads left. They leave their building, they swing through, they see RRQ, and they wrap up behind Rejected. RRQ is trying to dance around the outskirts of the zone.
And we've got the pylon, and we're basically staying directly on this, preventing nades. You're behind RRQ. Can we get Legacy back up on his feet? We're going to have to crawl with him with that knockdown, because if we don't deal with RRQ, it could be too little too late. Down to the top 3 we go.
With Pricey going down, that's unfortunate. Legacy, too, the zone closing in behind them. They're feeling the pressure. Can they get the reset? WGR, too, as Elite move up. RE45 is all they need. They are farming. J7 in hand, and Elite Esports are your Game 2 winners.
That RE45 just absolutely shredded through both of those teams as Elite Esports carved their path through that endgame.